Would you like to work closer to home, save money on gas, and be rewarded for your hard work and attendance? Then Bellisio Foods is looking for you. That's right, Bellisio Foods is now hiring for multiple positions and shifts with great employee benefits, an on-site health clinic, competitive wages, and advancement opportunities. Bellisio Foods is a company that truly values their employees. Apply online at BellisioFoods.com/careers.
All right, welcome everyone to the Lillian Jones Museum, and we are here today to talk with our good friend Megan Malone, who is the current director of the museum, and she will be, though, passing on the torch soon to Ashley Aldrich, and Ashley will be the new director of the museum. So we're going to chat with both of them, find out a little bit about the museum, maybe take a tour, and then we have an intern also that we're going to talk with who is going to talk about some World War II memorabilia and things that we have inside. And we're so looking forward to hearing from all of them. So let's turn around and head on inside. All right, well, we've come inside now, and we are in the Lillian Jones Museum art room, and I am here with our good friend Megan Malone. It's so good to see you again.
Good to see you. Good to see you. It's wonderful to be here, have you here. Yay!
Yay! And this is kind of a bittersweet conversation because you will be retiring from the Lillian Jones Museum, but could you tell us, how did you get started working here? How long have you been here, Megan?
It was March of 2012, and Cora Willett is the impetus behind all of this. I know, believe it or not. I was dropping off my girls at the bus stop. Mm-hmm. They went to St. Peter and Paul. Cora was dropping off her girls at the bus stop, and Cora said to me, "The museum is looking for a director." And I said, are you telling me that, or are you telling me to tell others? And she said, whatever you want. So thank you, Cora. Thank you, Cora.
Well, actually, thank you, Cora, because it's been a long ride and you've done such an amazing job here.
Thank you. It's been fun. It's a fun place to be. It's a fun place to work. I've met all kinds of amazing people. I've had all kinds of interesting things happen, learn about. It's fun. The Jones Museum is a remarkable place.
You know it is, and when you walk in, you just have this warm hug feeling of nostalgia, and you think about Lillian actually living here in the space. And then, there are so many things in here that reflect her and her life, but then also the heritage of our area. And we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, we've got a big mirror of her reflection.
We do, actually. I just saw that, yes. But Megan, could you tell everybody a little bit about, growing up? Did you grow up here in Jackson?
Yes, indeed. I talk about this period of my life as Jackson 2.0.
Okay.
Because I was here full-time, living from birth in 1970 to graduation, till high school graduation in 1988 from Jackson High School. And then I worked the summer of 1988, I worked at Hillcrest Pool in the concession stand. Yay, summer jobs in Jackson. Good thing.
It is.
It's a good thing. Then I went to the University of Dayton, and I think I came back here for summer of, that would be, we always joke around here, calendar math is hard.
It is. We like to say a few years ago.
Yeah, well, okay, all right. So 1989 was the last time I lived here full-time, and then went to the University of Dayton. I graduated from Dayton in 92. I'm sorry, here at the Jones Museum, we have to say 19 because we deal with 18, 19, or 2000. Now, we haven't gotten to 2092 yet, but, yeah. I'm often a time traveler is what I tell I know city administration doesn't really like to hear me say, well, give me a moment, I need to refocus. I'm sometimes either in 1912, 1962, 2005. I'm a time traveler, and they're like, okay.
Well, I think it's cool.
Thank you.
But,
Thank
yeah.
you. Thank you.
So you were in Dayton.
Yes, I was in Dayton. I worked part-time for the Dayton Daily News, for the Beaver Creek Current, the Fairborn Daily Herald.
Oh.
Because I was in college, and I would do police reports from Beaver Creek in the morning. I would get the morning police reports, and then I would go to Fairborn to get the morning police reports. And then I had a part-time job at the Dayton Daily writing sports features. Mm-hmm. So, I was young. What the heck?
Hey, you do what you got to do, right?
Exactly. I covered many sporting events in the Dayton area. Yeah. And I interacted with people from Jackson, believe it or not, who were involved in coaching stuff in the Dayton area. So,
hey, you can't get away from here very long.
No, you can't. And there's always the joke has always been, there's always somebody from Jackson around. But
all roads lead back to Jackson.
There is always somebody from Jackson that you interact with.
That's true.
And you just don't know. And like my interview to get enrolled at Dayton, at UD, the professor who talked with me and my parents, he said, Jackson, I played in a band there once.
Oh.
It was this little place. It was the Jolly Lounge.
Oh.
So, yes. So, it just can't get away.
You're exactly right. And I've always say all roads lead back to Jackson.
Exactly.
Like, you're always going to run into somebody. You have to be very careful what you do and say, because there's always someone watching.
Or they just, and it depends on your age. But, being from Jackson, you learn how to behave because somebody's always watching. Mm-hmm. And people talk about how you could do something on one side of town and the information about what you did beats you home.
Oh, sure. That's why we're all good boys and girls.
Exactly. Yes. We get along well with other people, and it's very nice. Yes. So, yes.
So how the heck after Dayton did you end up back here?
Let's see. Well, it was, all roads, But I went from Dayton to Canton, and then Jeremy, who graduated from Jackson High School in '87, Jeremy Harley, we got married after my college graduation. I'm running the numbers.
A few years ago.
And we got married. I had a job in Canton. He followed. He got a job. Then he got a job in it wasn't Bay Village. It was Westlake. So we follow each other. He followed me to Canton. I followed him to Westlake. So we're up north on Lake Erie. And then he gets a job at the atomic plant. That's what we, Portsmouth,
yes.
Ports, Piketon, whatever you want to call it. He gets a job there because we knew him having been born here was a benefit to his transfer to Piketon because, you know what you're getting into. Mm-hmm. So
here you are.
Here we are. Yes. And then, here we are. I deliver the kids to the bus stop. Cora will it, and we're off. He took a transfer from here to Oak Ridge, Tennessee. He did that 2 years ago.
Well, this is a story all in itself. Exactly. Because your sweet husband has been literally traveling back and forth for 2 years to Tennessee because your girls are in school.
Exactly. Everyone has graduated.
So, thus the retirement.
Exactly. You got it. You got it. And I was I have become good email buddies with retired Admiral Stan Arthur because of I happened upon something here and I needed to tell him about it. I wanted to get his opinion about it, like back in 2013. And so Stan and I I fumbled with my first phone conversation. Admiral, Mr. Sir Arthur, and
Hey, you.
and he said, "Call me Stan." I said, "All right, I will call you Stan, sir." But he's so nice. He's such a nice man, and he's from Jackson. So so what was I saying? Oh, so I was concerned about. I wanted to stay until Fletcher died, Fletcher Benton. Roger Donaldson said, I've got some stuff that I want the library and the museum to work on, so you need to stay. I'm like, well, okay, they're still in school. Yeah, all right. So, and then Fletcher passes in 2019. Okay, so Stan, I was concerned, I was hesitant to tell Stan I was leaving. And he responded, he sent me an email saying, "How goes it?" That was the subject line. "How goes it?" Hey, so I responded and told him this big long story about how Jackson High School had a actual graduation and attending graduation. You could go, you could attend. Miriam, my older daughter, is that lost class of 2020.
Yes.
And Stan had been involved in that through an email because he asked something about how Jackson was doing with the pandemic. And I said, well, this is email. It's funny. Miriam just came downstairs in her prom dress that she had bought before, in the before times. And she just likes to wear it around.
Yeah.
And he responded, "I'm sorry."
Yeah. Like, oh no, this is bad.
I'm sorry. But he has 4 kids, so he, gets it.
Sure.
And so he was very kind that way. So, we've talked about this. And so Evelyn, the younger daughter, she graduated, and I told him that. And then I said, she's going to Texas, and Miriam's going to Worcester, and I will be going to Tennessee and I explained it all to him.
Sure.
And then when Stan gave me his blessing, because he said, "It's time for your long distance visitation program."
Yes.
To end.
Yes, being 5 hours away or something from the husband doesn't really work so well.
He would come every weekend, yes. So he likes to drive. He's tired of driving, though.
I'd say, yes.
It's 5 hours.
2 years of that is a lot.
5 hours one way. So he would, the weekends, and so yeah. So the visitation program has ended. No, it hasn't. It's almost ending.
Almost ending, and this is why our sweet Megan is leaving the museum, but never fear because it's in great hands.
Yes.
Yes, and so we will get to talk to the new director here in just a moment.
Ashley's wonderful. It's going to all be great. She's going to be great. She acts a little nervous, but it's going to be great.
It's going to be great. But you've been here for such a long time, and you are so very passionate about this museum. And what are some of I know that we can't even begin to put this into a 5 or 10 minute segment, but
before.
Well, that's true.
Yeah,
but what are some of your most favorite experiences that you've had since you've been here?
Wow.
I know.
Yeah. Wow.
Go, Jen.
Yeah. Let's see. Let me think back through. So 12. We've done there's been lots of bicentennials celebrated, recognized. And I've been involved in a lot of those, and so that's good. The Jackson County Bicentennial, that was great fun, and did a wonderful timeline, 4-part timeline of 1816 to 2016.
Okay.
And I did that with Jenny Massey. I did the material, and she did the layout. And it was great. It was great. And to see all of that develop, it's great. Let's see. I've also remarkably enjoyed meeting Fletcher Benton.
Well, of course.
Yes, that was wonderful. And meeting and then emailing Stan Arthur, that's been wonderful. And like Lisa Trimble, actor who came from Utah to present at the Civil War 150, and she wrote a book about John Hunt Morgan's travels in this area.
Yes.
That was wonderful. That was terrific. Let's see, what else? And then I love working with the library. Love my library friends. And then the petting zoo has always been Daniel.
That's a good one.
Daniel the camel is awesome. I've enjoyed that. Let's see. And then we had the Americas Camp. That was the 9/11, September 11 artwork done by kids who lost a member of their family during that. And that was done with the University of Rio Grande. We did that. That was wonderful. We had those. I don't remember if you saw the big display pieces that were here, and they are now at the September 11 Museum in New York City.
Wow.
Yeah, they were here, so that was cool. There's been so much here and it's all cool, and it's just all here. I had to work with the state archivist. He knows that the Jones Museum exists. The Smithsonian, I've worked with the Smithsonian a few times.
That's cool.
That's cool.
That's real cool.
They know we exist, and if you look over there and there's letters from Fletcher Benton to Lillian, you'll see those. You'll only be able to walk in and see them here. The Smithsonian has the originals, but Fletcher wanted really good copies to be made for the people in Jackson to look at.
Sure.
And so, but he wanted the original to be sent to his collection at the Smithsonian. You can see them in 2 places.
That's pretty cool.
Smithsonian requires probably an appointment because it's not going to be on display. Well, you can look over there and you can see his thank you note. He did an illustration of Salvador Dali in a letter to Lillian.
Oh.
Yeah, because he went to a movie and Salvador Dali was there.
Oh. Well, that's pretty neat stuff.
So he did a little doodle of him, because you can doodle Salvador Dali.
Yeah. Everyone does that.
So you can see it here. Yeah. And the bookcase there are Jackson authors donated by Bob Lewis, who had collected books from Jackson authors.
Very, very cool. And all this stuff you can see here. And, it's just part of our heritage.
Yes. And it's been a delight having our inaugural intern, Jillian Evans. Yay, Jillian.
Yay.
And she
We'll meet her in a second.
Well, yeah. She didn't know about Fletcher Benton or Stan Arthur, both of whom graduated from Miami University in Oxford. And so Stan has challenged Jillian. I'll tell you. Has challenged Jillian to get a real PhD, to earn her own PhD, because both Fletcher and Stan Arthur were given honorary degrees.
Aha.
They got their bachelor's from Miami, but they did not get they got an honorary PhD from, and so Stan wants Jillian to earn her own.
That makes total sense. The pressure's on.
Yeah, make us proud, he says. Okay, an admiral tells you, make us proud. Jillian will. She will. She will.
She will. You're absolutely right. And the museum itself was actually the home place of Lillian Jones and her mother, right?
Her mother.
Okay.
Lola Jones bought the house after the death of Edwin Jones. That's Edwin, no middle initial, not Eddie.
We could do a whole series on that too, but
Follow the middle initials.
yeah, lots of it.
Follow the middle initials. Eddie, that we talk about, Eddie Jonesfield, that's Edwin A. That was Lillian's first cousin. So, okay, back to the house. When Lillian's father dies in 1921, Lola purchased this house, and she lived here until her death in 1956. Lillian lived here from about 1925 to Lillian's death in 1991. She was just shy of 98 years old when she died.
She had a fantastic life and a very interesting life, and you can see so much of that documented within the walls that we're sitting, within right now, and it's so fun. She traveled all over the world.
Yes,
she was able to do that, and she did such amazing things, and the pictures are just to die for. Just so fun to look at.
Just fun, yes. And you look at it and you go, wow. And then you think about it some more and you're like, ooh, wow. Oh, wow, 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 wow.
Like, she was traveling places that you certainly wouldn't go today. And for, a lady to travel alone back when she was doing it is just unbelievable.
She was in her 60s.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But, where there's a will, there's a way. So.
But the pictures are fun. She looked like she had a fun life.
Yes. She never married, had no children, and had a good bit of money. So, and because she had a good bit of money, she left her home. Her executor was Huntington Bank, and Huntington Bank asked who wants to operate this facility. And they had two proposals, Southern Hills Arts Council and the City of Jackson. Huntington Bank chose the City of Jackson. So the director does not work for the City of Jackson. The director here works for the museum trustees. It's a board. It's a board of 7 members who they are such a great group of people. They have so much fun. They're fun to be with, and it's all the age ranges and all the parts of the county. The Jones Museum is a county museum, so we cover it all.
And that's so very good. And it's so good to have that group of people together that are passionate and have the common goal of continuing on our legacy and showing our history and our heritage of our area.
Yes, yes, indeed. I mean, because there's a lot to talk about.
Yes.
There's a reason that all roads lead back to Jackson.
Right.
Because people from Jackson have gone so many places and done so many things.
You are 100% right. And so we can't thank you enough for your service here and your passion here, because it just bleeds from you. And I would just really, really love for y'all to come and say hey to Megan, because she just can show you everything, tell you everything. Absolutely. It's amazing.
Yes, it's fun. It's really fun. And I was talking with Phil Buffington, and he wanted to know, so how have you told Ashley about all this? And I'm like, we went room by room by room by room. And some rooms we spent multiple days, like this room, we spent multiple days, because we have bits from the exhibit about Popeye Reed, and we have bits from Fletcher Benton exhibit that we did with the Southern Hills Arts Council. We also did the Popeye Reed with Southern Hills Arts Council.
That's right.
And then we didn't, not so much get into, it'll be up to Ashley. She can do it. She can do it. But Strickland Gillen, a great artist, performer. He was a performer. We did something about the composers. I said our 3 composers, Cavett, Frank Crummett. Sorry, see, even Crummett, Frank Crummett.
There's a lot to remember.
Oh, heavens. And then Isham Jones, and then Carl Summers. All 3 lived roughly about the same time frame, but they did 3 very different things. And I mean, Crummett, his death was recorded by the UPI, United Press International, he died in the 40s. Okay, that was part of their closing of the year. The death of a Jackson guy.
Big deal. Big deal.
Big deal. He had CBS radio. He had a performance. He was everything. You know, and then you've got modern era guys doing stuff like that. Yeah. Modern era women doing stuff.
Well, and that's why this museum is so important, is because it will continue to record the legacy and the history of the people in our area.
Yes. And that's part of that's something that Ashley and I talked about even this morning about, you have to know what's here, but you have to keep recording. So like we have a flyer for in 2018, Jackson City's first stab at a income tax. Short-lived stab.
Very, very short-lived.
Remember that?
Yes.
But there are so many newspapers that talk about every blasted year. The newspapers in the past have talked about the need for an income tax. I mean, it's been going on. The need for an income tax has been going on for a very long time. So you've got to keep the modern stuff, you've got to grab it, and you've got to have a sense of what is going to be important.
Absolutely. And, people like you that are passionate and that know all of this stuff, we appreciate you so much because, you have taken time to learn about everything in here. And
Yes.
Hopefully the legacy passes on to our sweet Ashley.
I'm not dying. I'm retired.
No, she's retiring. She's not going anywhere. I mean, to Tennessee,
Well,
but
yeah. But, the phone reaches there. And
that's right. We can text and email.
Oh, absolutely. And I'll come and visit often. Well, I mean, as often as, enough. Yeah. It's a wonderful place, and it can only grow. It can only grow. And my goal here has always been to, yes, I was a Girl Scout, leave it better than I found it.
Love that.
Yeah, I was a Girl Scout. There's information about all the Girl Scouts that have gone through the county and all the leaders and all that.
There's so much information here within these walls, and we just encourage people to come in and see it and read about it and whatever, because you're going to learn way more than you ever thought you would learn. But Megan, I want to thank you so much for your service here, because you have done, a job that has gone so far above and beyond.
Thank you. It's been, I wouldn't have done it if it wasn't fun.
Well, that makes sense. That's true.
But it's a lot of fun, and history isn't boring.
No.
You just have to realize that history isn't boring, that there's interesting stuff. And the whole concept of an Academy Award winner is buried at Fairmount. That's cool. So who will be the next Academy Award winner to be through Jackson County?
Good question. We'll see. Probably not us.
No, odds are, I mean, we're cool and everything, yeah, but odds are likely that it's not going to be us.
We won't hold our breath. All right. Well, Megan, thank you so much for talking with us and taking the time. And thank you for doing all the wonderful things here with the museum that you have. So we are going to, I think, grab Miss Ashley and maybe take kind of a walk around and show people.
Sure, I'll be in the background lurking.
Okay, you can lurk away.
And so if there's a pause, I'll say, and I'll fill it somehow. I mean, there's just so much that you can fill it with, everything.
That's right.
We always have people showing up unexpectedly, just, you never know. A man came in this week, and he just wanted to come in and take photographs because he likes taking photographs of museums. And so
Cool to me.
we're here for him.
Yep.
We're here for everyone. So it's been a pleasure.
That's right. And Megan, you are awesome. So thank you, thank you. And let's go see if we can track down Ashley and see if we can take maybe a little tour around.
Sure. Excellent. That's a good plan. I'll be lurking.
Okay. All right. Well, we are here now with
Ashley Aldrich.
and Ashley. You will be the new, now let me get this right, director
Yes.
of the Lillian Jones Museum.
Yep. That's going to be me.
All right. And you actually came from the high school, is that correct? And what did you do there?
Well, for 9 years, I taught English language arts, and then for the past 5 years, I was the librarian.
That sounds like so much fun. Well, it's a good fit, though, for you to be here. I'm sure you have a love of history and all things like that. So this is great that you're taking over.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It's been a nice transition.
Well, very good. So we are here in, what would we call this, like the foyer?
Foyer, the entryway. That
Should we
doesn't
stick
sound
our
fancy enough? Yes.
Pinkies up.
Pinkies up.
It's the foyer.
Yes.
So could you tell us a little bit about where, what we're seeing here in the Jones Museum? Like, 'cause so if you walk in, we're kind of over to the right.
Yes, so when you walk in, we actually are in the house that the Jones family lived in and where Lillian lived in until she passed away. And a lot of stuff that you are seeing is original with her. The wallpaper, the curtains, they're all some of the last things that she picked out and decorated with the house. So you kind of have this big entryway, and then as we move over here, you do have pictures of Lillian and her family. So her mother, father, 2 brothers.
I'll move over here so that James can see.
So, like, Lillian's kind of down here on the table.
She was like all glamorous and stuff. I love that picture.
I love this picture. And we don't have enough of her. She was not photographed very often. So this is kind of like the main picture. I don't know if there's any more from her youth that we have. I've seen some of her when she was some youth. So we do have that. And then her father, Edwin, Lola, and then her 2 brothers. So kind of the little history of why the museum is the Lillian Jones Museum. I feel like not just people out of town, but people that live here have driven by this their whole life and never really make that connection or know what's going on. So
you're correct, and Megan and I were just talking too. This museum is free, so it's free to the public. Lillian, that's what she wanted. When she passed, she wanted the heritage of our community to kind of continue on, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Megan probably mentioned this earlier, but a lot of people think because it's in Jackson, it's just a Jackson museum. But in fact, it is supposed to represent the historical and cultural things of the entire county. So we're not just looking for Jackson, Ohio, but Jackson County, Ohio.
There you go. And of course, if anybody has anything, you're always looking for new exhibits and things like that as well. And there's so much information within here. So I see some big binders behind me. What is that?
Yes, those are several of the bound edition of newspapers that we have, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. Out in the carriage house, we have papers that go all the way back to 1858 and then all the way up to 1994 for papers that were published at Jackson County. It's kind of a black hole of information. Megan was quick to point out to me that if you don't have a very specific research query, you can kind of just flip through those for the rest of your life and find things.
I could totally see that. And you could just, it's kind of like the rabbit hole of TikTok or Pinterest. You just can't get out of it.
Yes, very much so. You just keep flipping.
All right, and of course over here we have our sweet intern that we're going to talk with here in just a moment. But let's head on over to one of the other rooms and we can take a look around. Okay. All right, well, we've moved to I think we call this the art room, right?
Yes. Yes. So the majority of what we have in here are pieces from Fletcher Benton, who was a Jackson High School graduate and then went on to become a really famous artist. The Jones Museum has the largest single collection of his works, of anywhere in the world, actually. But his art pieces are all over the world. And the neat thing that I've learned, thanks to Megan, is he wanted people to interact with the pieces. So he was a big part of the, I think, kinetic movement in art. But if you go over
Yes,
here,
this is so cool.
his pieces, they're all in these little things where he wanted you to spin them around and see the movement, see them from different angles, and actually like interact with the art.
That is like a no-no with art, right?
Yeah, most museums you go to, they've got the velvet rope, they want you away from them, but he wanted you to interact with them and the movement and be a part of experiencing them. So.
Well, I love this, and I also love the fact that my mom's BFF, Lily Goldstein, has a self-portrait
Yes.
in here, and we miss her terribly. She was a wonderful lady as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, in addition to Fletcher, this is the art room. We have a lot of old playbills from some of the schools, music, different things. I think Megan talked about we have a bookcase full of authors from Jackson County. So while most of this stuff is Fletcher's, it is to celebrate all of the art that has come out of Jackson County. So anything that we can get access to and put in here.
All right, so once again, anybody has anything lying around, we would
Yes.
love to have it here at the museum. All right, let's move on to the next room.
Next room.
All right, Ashley, so we have moved now from the art room to the industry room, and God knows that Jackson, our history and heritage, was full and still is of industry. So could you tell everyone a little bit about what people can see and hear?
So obviously one of the biggest industries that we had and that we're still proud of is the iron making, the iron furnaces. They were all over the city and then around the county as well. So we do have a lot of memorabilia and things from that, as well as Pig Iron Days. We're still celebrating. We've got pictures of people that were involved in the furnaces, as well as some of the pieces that have been made and that have came out of that. But in addition to just the iron furnaces, we do have things from the former Marilat building with the cabinet making, which obviously isn't here anymore. One of the coolest pieces we have is the whistle that used to signal end of shifts. And then,
I can remember waking up to
Yes,
that whistle
yes.
as a little kid.
yes, my grandma lived like right over in Walnut Hills, and I can remember that going off in the middle of the night. And we have a video too where you can still watch it go off because it was a steam whistle. So when it did, it like pours out all of this like white vapor, white smoke when you look at it. So that's probably one of the neatest or one of my favorite pieces that's in here. I know when my son's in, we have to watch the video of it a million times for it to go off. But the other neat thing that is in here is this Mountain Dew can. Which
Oh, I'll get it all the way here.
When I first saw Megan had to tell me why do we have a Mountain Dew can?
Yeah, why do we care about a Mountain Dew can that's right there?
This got stuck in, what was it specifically? The Central Dust Collection. So somebody had a can of Mountain Dew and then it had gotten discarded. It ended up in Central Dust Collection. It caused a 4-hour shutdown of Marilat, which doesn't seem like a long frame of time, but it actually resulted in like a $30,000 profit loss. So this is the $30,000 Mountain Dew can that we have that they finally dug out and were able to do.
I'm guessing no one claimed that Mountain Dew can.
I don't think anybody wants to claim that they were the reason for like a $30,000 shutdown, but we do have it, and it makes a great story to tell like why it's here.
That is so cool. And then there's all kind of like really neat plaques and awards along here too, where, people were commemorated and some pictures that you can see. So it's really, really cool.
Yeah, Marilat definitely did a good job like taking care of their history, and we've been able to have a lot of the memorabilia from them when they went out and from when they were still here.
All right. Well, Ashley, that is so cool. And that whistle just brings back, I mean, like I could just remember being young. And I think it went off at 7. So it was like, oh no, it's time to get up and get to school.
Yes, absolutely. I can remember spending the night with my grandma and hearing it go off middle of the night. It didn't matter. It was going to be there.
All right. Well, let's head on out to one of the other rooms because there's so much stuff here. All right, Ashley, so we've moved on down the hallway to something that I think is one of the coolest things that I have ever seen. And these are the travels, like marking the travels of Lillian Jones. And as we mentioned earlier, this lady traveled all over the world. She was not afraid. She went by herself. Yep. She did so many amazing things. So this map over here, could you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so we were lucky enough to have volunteers before my time here from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and those women took the time to put pins in everywhere that Lillian had visited in her travels. So if you take time and look at the map, you can see she really didn't make it below the equator too much, but she did travel extensively in Europe and then like Southern Asia. And what was amazing and what was kind of mentioned earlier is this was a woman who was traveling alone in like the 50s and 60s.
Like unheard of stuff.
Yeah, so not too long. I mean, she was in Japan, not even 20 years after World War II. So the fact that she did this, I think, says a lot about her gumption as a human and as a woman that she was willing to, definitely spunky. And we have lots of pictures from her travels, but being able to look at the map and have that physical reminder of just everywhere she went has been really awesome. And then our intern, Jillian, who you guys are going to talk to in a second, has actually went further of not just plotting out everywhere Lillian went, but also looking at the life events that were happening, because Lillian was born in 1893. She passed just shy of her 98th birthday in 1991. So everything that she lived through, there were a lot of events in the 20th century that she witnessed. And Jillian has been putting that together in kind of a comprehensive list for us.
Well, I love that, and we're going to talk to Jillian just here in a minute and about some of the World War II stuff and then Lillian's travels as well. But, I mean, you think about this lady traveling by herself, and I guess that's the one thing when I walk in the doors of this museum, and I hope that you all take the time to stop by sometime. Again, it's free of charge. What are the hours?
We are open Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 10 to 3, or we can do by appointment.
Okay. But when you walk in the front door, you just get this just like wonderful feeling of this lady living in here and knowing about all of our heritage and stuff. But also, she just would have been cool to hang out with, I feel like.
Yeah, definitely everything that she saw, everything that she lived through, and not just everything that's in here, but the house itself and the history it's went through. Megan has been kind enough to share with me any of her personal stories about interactions with Lillian, because they went to the same church, but also interactions that people had shared with her about visiting and the different things that went on in the community. So that's been neat too.
Well, I love that, and we look so forward to the museum continuing on under your guidance. So, Ashley, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us today, and best of luck. No pressure, but you have some big shoes to fill, right?
I definitely have big shoes to fill. Megan has spent a decade making this place amazing. Every day, it's like we get off on a different tangent. She's telling me about something that leads to something else, and she is going to be sorely missed and probably the recipient of a lot of text messages from me whenever she's gone. So.
I'm guessing she won't mind that one bit.
I sure hope not, because it's definitely going to happen.
All right. Well, best of luck to you here. I know that the future is bright here, and if you haven't stopped by, please do so. See Ashley and say hey, and let's head on over. We're going to go pick on the intern, aren't we?
That sounds good.
All right. All right. Well, we are here with our good friend
Jillian Evans.
And Jillian is here, and you are actually the intern this summer at the Lillian Jones Museum. So we have Jillian and Lillian.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Jillian Evans. I'm a graduate of 2022 of Jackson High School. In the fall, I'll be attending Miami University for history education, and yeah.
And you are going to get the real PhD, I hear, right?
I'd like to, but we'll see where that goes.
All right. One step at a time, right? College first. All right. Well, good luck at Miami. You will have so much fun.
Thank you.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about some of the things that you have been doing here as an intern this summer.
So one of my biggest jobs here this summer has been working with the Fillinger Iron Scrapbook. So that is this gigantic 229-page scrapbook that details the, I guess you would say maybe the author, Carmen Fillinger Irons. Her 4 brothers all served in World War II, her husband as well as her brother-in-law.
Wow.
And she kept every postcard, every letter, anything that pertained to their service over the course of World War II. So what I did, she left all of the letters still in the scrapbook. So with these 3 binders here, I took out every letter. They've been digitized, and I've just been making sure they're preserved for future generations. And just searching through all of the amazing stories that they left behind.
You know, and Megan and I were talking off the air, and she was saying, you know, this is World War II, right? Like, this is the heritage of World War II. These are the people that actually lived through it. And unfortunately, our World War II generation is passing every day. And so if we don't have these kind of things, then we will forget, or we won't know what happened. So what are some of your favorite things that you've come across with this so far?
It still amazes me, but there's a corsage. A preserved corsage in the pages of this. Like, don't know what it's been preserved with, but it's still intact from her husband sent this on their 8th wedding anniversary when he was at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base.
That is so precious. And then you said there's letters and other things, correspondence with not only her brothers and whatever, but husband.
And her brother-in-law. And out of all of the family to go off, only the brother-in-law did not come back.
Wow.
And like researching through the history that the 4 brothers went through in their service, it's a miracle that they all came back home in one piece.
I would have to say that not so many families were so fortunate.
They actually have a picture in this scrapbook of a few of them in a boat on the Navy. One of them did not come home. And it's just interesting to see history unfold before your eyes.
You know, you're exactly right. And so you have taken the time this summer to go through all of this. And I mean, you can tell it's obviously very dainty, and the pressure's on to not, break something.
Yeah. Absolutely, because even with the paper, it's onion skin. So it feels as thin as tissue paper. So you feel that, like, you're writing on the back of it to catalog it. You're like, oh, please don't crinkle at all in any way. Or when you're scanning it in, you're just hoping it's not going to disintegrate.
Well, no pressure or anything, but you have to salvage all of this. So, yeah. So what else? They said that you had been kind of documenting Lillian's travels along the way. So could you tell us maybe some of the things that you found out that were neat about her travels? I mean, the fact that the lady went by herself is just unbelievable to me, but
it's just like the way history had lined up for her to visit those countries, because she visited Vietnam in between a prolonged war with the French and then before American involvement occurred. But like thinking about Iran, she was there before the Shah was overthrown. Just looking at the history, just how it lined up for her, how she was able to visit these places. And she was there for the Queen's 10-year anniversary on the throne. She has pictures of the Queen on the computer here. She visited Spain while it was still under Francisco Franco. China was communist at the time. When she visited China, it was just so interesting to look at. She visited Japan about 20 years after World War II.
which would be, I mean, I don't know. She just had this guts and the spunk and all of that. I mean, not many of us would do that today.
And then I think it's really funny because she always takes pictures of children and she always takes pictures of wedding. And you had to think, all right, what would the natives of this country think? Like, why is she taking pictures of us? Who is this strange woman? But she just had the guts to go out and explore the world.
We should all live like Lillian, right?
Definitely.
Well, that is an amazing thing. I'm so glad you got to spend the summer here, and I'm sure that you didn't quite know what you were getting yourself into when you walked in the door the first day.
It's just been an amazing experience. It's been an amazing experience to learn more about my home, because every single day you learn something new about Jackson County. And just being able to take it all in. It's been a great learning experience, and I'm very, very lucky to count myself a part of the Lillian Jones Museum history.
Well, I think they're lucky to have you as well. And we want to tell you best of luck to you at Miami. I know you'll do great, and we'll have another history teacher hopefully on our hands soon.
Absolutely.
All right, well, best of luck to you, and thank you for talking with us today.
Thank you.
Well, we hope you've enjoyed our tour of the Lillian Jones Museum today. Want to give a big shout out to all the staff here. Of course, our good friend Megan Malone, and she will be retiring soon, and we will miss her terribly. Also, the new director, Ashley, and of course, intern Jillian. They did such a wonderful job of taking us on a tour around here. So we want to thank them. If you haven't been out and about and seen the Lillian Jones Museum, please do so, because it is just a wealth of information about our area and our heritage, and you will see so many things and learn so many things about maybe our past, and there will be many, many things to come in our future. So thank you once again for tuning in and seeing our tour of the Lillian Jones Museum. Let's head back to the studio.
Oh no, we're not here.
Oh no, we're not here. James, did you not push the right button?
I thought I did.
Oh no. We'll try it and see if he can fix us up. There we are. Sorry about that. James had to push another button. Actually, it's called unplug something and plug it back in.
Turn it off and on again. My bad. So that was fun.
That was so fun.
What was your favorite piece at the Lillian Jones Museum? The Crushed Mountain Dew can?
I mean, I would have to say that that's probably a crowd favorite for sure.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah. I love the fact that, with the Fletcher Benton pieces, number one, the fact that they have them there is amazing, and that many.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that there are really no museums that you go into and they literally encourage you to touch the art.
So you said you didn't know that the statue at Rio Grande moved.
No, I didn't.
Yeah. So those little maquettes, you could turn them.
Yeah.
But the big red oval statue that Fletcher did for the University of Rio Grande, it turns and rotates and stuff.
Yeah. So I think that the fact that you're actually encouraged to be hands-on with some of those pieces that are probably worth a whole lot of money if you think about it.
Must be.
That was neat. And just love spending. I think that if you haven't been into the museum and there's this presence of like Lillian there, and you learn about all of her travels, and you just try to put yourself in her shoes, like of all the bad A things that she went out and did. I mean, not too many people would have the guts that she had.
No. I mean, I'm not planning to go to Iran anytime soon.
No. And by yourself.
Yeah, by myself.
And she just did whatever.
Yeah. Do you want to tell your story about going to school there next to her house?
Oh, just where we were like,
afraid to kick the ball into her yard.
Yeah. So when I went to Kennison, which isn't there anymore, it's just a big field there where like the upward stuff was and everything. But yeah, I mean, we were threatened as children, like, do not, for the love of God, kick anything into Lillian's yard, because we don't want to have to answer to her. So she must have been pretty sassy. But I can remember back then, like, being so afraid, or like, do not run into the yard.
Yeah.
Like, don't go over and stand in her yard. Don't do anything like that. So yeah.
And now they're trucking camels into her backyard.
And now there's a camel in her backyard. Yes. Hi, John Boy's here. What are you doing?
How are you, sir? No, come interrupt us. We got 4 minutes left. Come take my seat.
Come hang with us, John Boy. Oh, see, James just doesn't like me. He doesn't want to talk. What are you doing?
Actually, we're getting ready for the Ohio Hill Country Festival.
Aha.
So I'm ordering banners.
Heard.
Radio, of course. Stuff for Main Street TV. We're buying Main Street TV and newspaper.
Very good.
Billboards.
All of the goodness.
All the goodness. So
what all is happening at the festival this year?
Well, it's been a crazy year because Normally we were a Tuesday through Saturday.
Yes.
This year we're going Wednesday through Saturday.
Okay.
We have a really nice ride company, which is very difficult to find now.
It is.
Since the state of Ohio changed their safety laws. A lot of the larger companies don't want to come to Ohio.
They don't want to mess with us anymore.
Don't want to mess with us anymore.
Gotcha.
And all of the local festivals are having the same issue.
Okay.
And we're putting together entertainment. Wednesday night will be the Menus, which is a great band.
Are they really coming?
Yeah. And then
They played at my wedding.
Did they
remember?
really?
Yeah.
And then Thursday will be Murphy will be coming. And of course, he's the one who was on American Idol.
Yes.
And he has a band now.
Cool.
So we're going to bring him in on Thursday night. Friday, of course, is the famous karaoke. And then we have we have a name, but we still have to confirm Saturday night. So
so we're not going to.
we don't want to say something that isn't going to happen.
Yeah.
So
TBA, to be announced.
that's right. Lots of rides. Of course, our parade's Wednesday and Saturday.
Yes.
Good food.
Lots of good food.
And it's the Ohio Hill Country Festival. It'll be fun for the whole family.
Love that.
Yes.
And it's coming up when?
It'll be September the 7th through the 10th, Wednesday through Saturday.
Very good.
It's only a couple of weeks
I was
away.
going to say it's like literally right around the corner.
I know. So, and we're excited about it. So
Very good. Cool.
And I just came to hang out with real radio people like JJ and Borderhouse and Matt McKee.
I think that they would say that they would like to hang out with a real radio guy like you.
Of the past, and still trying to figure out retirement.
Yes.
Haven't been able to do that.
Did you get through all the honeydews yet?
No.
No, I didn't figure. There was a long list.
It was a rather long list, and but enjoying it myself.
Good.
Getting up a little bit later in the day than I would normally would, which is kind of nice.
So like 5 instead of 4?
Yeah, right. Actually, my routine was, believe it or not, and when I say this, people gasp, but my routine was 3:45 a.m.
Oh.
Because when I would come to work and I always felt more comfortable if I had a lot of time to prepare.
Yeah.
So, believe me, I needed to prepare. So, but I'm sleeping in now a little bit later than that.
Till 4:45.
And the thing that I enjoy the most is, and I'm not a coffee drinker, but I really get to sit down and drink a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Sometimes we do porch sitting out front. But I
never know what you're going to get into.
I enjoy that part of the day.
Good.
And then I kick it in gear and have to do my chores for the morning, and then do what I need to do. So,
well, very good. Well, we're glad that we saw you and that you stopped by. Thank you.
Thank you. I come to spend some of their money, and
woohoo!
Woohoo.
We like that.
We appreciate you spending it here.
We appreciate you spending it with us.
Well, when it gets a little bit closer, John, be sure to come back and tell us all about.
Yeah, I will.
Everything.
For sure.
And maybe
I'd love to.
Bring some of the other people involved with you.
Yeah, I can bring some other people. We'll bring some pics and share some information, some detailed information on what's going to be happening. Okay.
Yep. That sounds amazing.
I do want to say real quick, Jen, before we get out of here today, that here at Total Media, you can purchase tickets to Friday night Jackson football games for $5 each.
Oh, you can buy them here.
So you can buy them here.
Oh,
the
great.
catch is we can't take credit cards for them here. So if you buy here, you have to pay cash. But if you want to pay with a credit card, you can buy them online.
Okay. Very good. So thank you for that. And we'll be talking a little bit about football tomorrow.
Yeah.
Also, our good friend Matt Wilson from the Marquee will be in to talk about Evening with the Arts.
Cool.
And some other stuff we'll do tomorrow.
Wonderful.
Well, this is the rematch, Jackson Ironman Ironton, after that crazy game last year. If you don't remember, we're going to talk about it tomorrow.
Yeah, it's the game in which we really don't want to, recall, but we're going to anyway.
Uh-oh,
It was
not
bad.
that one.
It was that game.
Oh, no.
It was the game.
I
The one that ended up on ESPN, but not to Jackson's detriment, to say the least. So,
Okay.
well, John Boy, it's so good to see you. Thank you for stopping in.
Well,
and
thanks for hauling me in here.
oh,
I appreciate
absolutely. We always love to see your smiling
it. Okay,
face.
thanks.
All right. Well, we will be right back here tomorrow. Hope that you enjoyed our little visit to the Lillian Jones Museum. So get out there, check it out. It's a really cool place too. And see the new director. So, all right. Have a great day. We'll see you right back here on Friday. Bye.